Hey guys, welcome to Top Table Gaming. Today we are going to be looking at the Fangorn faction, including the two new profiles from War in Rohan. Hey guys, welcome to Top Table Gaming. You're here with your host Top Table Ben.
And Top Table Steve.
And as I said in the intro, we are here to talk about the Fangorn faction and kind of how the new profiles that we've seen in War in Rohan are going to impact on how we see Fangorn being played. So first off, Fangorn, historically, we've seen it, it's been around for a while as a faction. It has included Treebeard and Ents, and it has been around since the newest edition of the rules, and we haven't really seen any changes to the army bonus, which we'll discuss in a little bit more detail in a bit. But what we have seen is obviously the two new profiles that come out in War in Rohan, which I think will make this army work very, very differently to how it works at the moment. So let's talk about the strengths of the army. So Ents and the like are very tough. They're generally kind of very high defense 7 or 8. So they are going to take a lot of beating to take them down. They have got a very cool army bonus. So so we have a look at the army bonus for now.
So the army bonus, as Ben mentioned, hasn't changed since the sort of the refreshment of the rules and the list itself. It's don't be hasty, and basically what it means that they gain the Fearless special rule, which is massive on its own. Additionally, Ent models are completely unaffected by any magical powers or special rules that would prevent them from moving or move them against their will. The only exception is that they will still take a hit from Sorcerer's Blast, but will suffer no further effects. Additionally, Ent models are completely unaffected by Nature's Wrath and Wrath of Brunnen magical powers.
That's pretty cool. That's always
huge,
and especially when this is going to be a very low point army, low model count army, shall we say? So that is one of their big weaknesses. So actually, when you've got somebody that is dictating when you move and where you move and things, actually that is going to be a big downside.
Or if you can move,
at all. This really kind of helps negate some of those weaknesses. So they have got some real strengths there. As I say, one of the weaknesses is very low model count. So essentially, each model is 100 points plus. So that is quite a lot to be spending on one model. So you aren't going to get that many models in.
You get a lot for your buck, though.
You do get a lot for your buck, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And they are very, very slow. So they only move 6 inches, and when you've got such low numbers, getting them to the right place at the right time can be a bit of a challenge. That 6-inch movement, which we've come to expect, isn't great when you have only got 3 models on the table.
You're on a 4-foot board playing a scenario, domination springs to mind. You're going to struggle.
Really going to struggle. So I think some of the key models and the new models that have been added to this army will make a real difference to how this army is played going forward. So some of the key models for this army are going to be Treebeard. So he is 190 points. He is a big hefty model, and you do get a lot for that. So he's fight 8, strength 8, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, and courage 7 with 3 might, 6 will, and 1 fate. He has got some access to some heroic actions. He's got access to heroic strike, strength, and defense, which you would expect from a big burly tree.
A big lump of wood.
He can take Merry and Pippin for an extra 10 points, which is quite cool. It's very thematic. It's what we see. Him carrying the Merry and Pippin on his shoulder into Orthanc to kind of take it back. So again, it's sort of hitting the nail on the head with that special rule.
Very cool.
Also, what we've historically seen as well is Ents, which are kind of your standard troop for this army list. So they are 120 points, so they're not cheap. They're not cheap, but again, you still get quite a lot for your money. So let's have a look at the stat line, Steve.
So I'll move 6, fight 7, strength 8, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 6.
So again, they are a very beefy, burly, and there's not going to be much that can kind of go up against them. At fight 7, most other heroes are going to be needing to strike against you, that's something that they are going to have to expend might on. So it is going to be interesting to see how this army plays. So one of the new profiles that has been added to the Fangorn list is Quick Beam, who is 140 points. He has got movement 8, which is 2 inches extra over your standard Ents and Treebeard, which is great. Which Quick Beam in the books is, we don't necessarily see him in the films, but in the books he is one of the more hasty, he's one of the younger Ents.
Longer stride.
Longer stride, absolutely. Yeah. So we tend to see that rule kind of fitting in with what we expect of him in the books. He's got movement 8, fight 7, strength 8, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, and courage 6. And he's got 3 points of might, 1 point of will, and 1 point of fate. For 140 points, that is very, very good.
Very good.
And his heroic actions, he's got access to heroic march, which you would expect from Quick Beam. He's also got the bludgeon brutal power attack, which is pretty good for Ents.
Yeah.
Basically, they select one enemy model in the fight to be picked up by the Ent and become the bludgeon. If the model is a cavalry model, the rider is picked up and immediately dismounted. This model cannot be a monster. And you select another model in the fight for the Ent to hit with a bludgeon. Both the target and the bludgeon suffer 1 strength 8 hit. If the target is slain, the Ent may pick another target and repeat this process again. This may be done repeatedly until either the Ent fails to slay a target or there are no more eligible targets to choose.
Awesome.
That's really cool. So again, it's thematic and it's what you see them doing in the
all Ents get that, right?
Yeah, all Ents get that. That's not just these guys, but he has got access to that. And I thought it was quite important to cover that. Yeah. So even if he is surrounded, potentially, even though he's only got 3 attacks, you could potentially kill everybody that is surrounding you. And strength 8 is going to be wounding most stuff on 3s or 4s.
Yeah. And looking at it from the person who's playing against Ents, they're going to be thinking, right, to kill this, I need to get as many attacks in as possible. I need to surround it, double my attacks, trap it, blah blah blah. They're doing that, and they're doing it at a risk because you've got bludgeon.
Exactly. So it's going to make them potentially think twice about what they do. Just going back to the heroic actions that he has got access to. He has got access to heroic march, which obviously adds an extra 3 inches for these guys to be able to move on a turn, which they call heroic march. So this guy is potentially moving 11 inches and your standard Ents are moving 9 inches, which is a huge improvement over what we have seen.
One side of the board to the other in 4 turns.
Yeah, so that's not something that we have been able to do with Ents previously, and it has, like we said earlier, is their manoeuvrability is probably one of their key weaknesses, whereas now having access to heroic march and an Ent that moves that little bit quicker really is going to make a difference to this army. So he will be very, very useful to how this army plays. Let's move on to Beachbone.
So Beachbone is 160 points. He's move 6, as we mentioned, fight 8, 4 plus shoe value, strength 8, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 6, and he is also 3/1/1. His heroic actions this time are heroic strike and heroic strength, so he's more of a fighty type.
Yeah, absolutely.
Special rules, deep-rooted hatred.
And this is a new one that we don't tend to see against in any of the other Ents, so let's have a look at that.
So Beachbone must re-roll fail to wound rolls when making strikes against any Orc, Uruk-hai, Goblin or Isengard models. In addition, Beachbone must always charge an enemy Orc, Uruk-hai, Goblin or Isengard model if able to do so.
So that's it. There's a bit of a double-edged sword there, because sometimes you might not want him to be charging.
No.
But he can take care of himself. Don't get me wrong with that stat line.
You're not. I think it's more of a positioning worry than a worry of him getting himself into trouble.
Yes, absolutely. You don't want. What you don't want is your enemy kind of dictating where he is moving to, because he always has to charge. Potentially, you might keep all your models just out of reach, but then if one's kind of out on a limb, you might have to kind of go towards that because he has to charge them. So, as you say, it might be a slight sort of question around positioning them. And
getting the re-rolls count as that.
Exactly. It is very situational because it depends what you come up against, but obviously if you're coming up against Uruk-hai, Isengard, Orcs, etc., that is very, very useful.
It's very good.
And again, I think we will probably see that come into its own in sort of good versus evil games or good versus evil kind of metas and things, because there are a lot of countries out there that do play that kind of good versus evil game, whereas we don't tend to see that as much in the UK.
I think we may see more going forward. It's kind of something that's crossed my mind for events that I've put on. But yeah, I think for the extra 20 points you're paying for Beachbone over Quick Beam, you're not getting the movement, you're getting an extra point of fight value.
Yeah.
You're getting the extra special rule.
I think the fight 8, there are a lot of sort of fight 4, fight 5 heroes out there that can strike, but by having them at fight 8, it just makes it that little bit more,
a little bit harder.
That little bit harder, and actually, they are 50% of the time they are going to match you on fight value at best, and then you're still going to win. Whereas at fight 7, you are still slightly kind of low, whereas that fight 8, it just gives you that little extra advantage and just gives you that little bit of extra buffer. And
he's got strike.
And he's got strike as well, so should he need to, he can call strike as well. But I'm hoping at fight 8 he's not going to need to call it too much.
I think he's your hero killer, and
definitely.
But yeah, one thing we've not mentioned about the Ents is their throw stone special rule, and the fact that they cause terror, and they have woodland creature, which you'd expect.
So it means that you're controlling generally when they're getting charged, and who you're charging into, because you come up against things like orcs. Unless they've got some sort of courage buff, it's unlikely that they are going to be charging into you because of their low courage. Now, what is quite interesting about the 3 kind of hero profiles in this army list is when you take Treebeard with Merry and Pippin, Quick Beam and Beachbone all together, they come to a nice round 500 points.
500 points.
So
500 points is quite low.
It is quite low.
And you get in
3 massive heroes, and the guys as well that they should tear through troops like there is no tomorrow. I think they're always going to struggle in games like Domination and the likes. But if you get that
9 points of might as well.
Yeah, exactly. 9 points of might.
Has Merry and Pippin got might? They've
No,
not got might.
no,
So it's 9 points of might.
Yeah. 9 points of might. They've got access to that bludgeon, so they will chew through troops essentially. Well, hopefully. So I think these are definitely going to be one to watch at lower sort of points. At 500 points, I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. I think in games like Domination, obviously they're still going to be struggling, but in things like To the Death and scenarios like that, I think these guys have definitely got an edge and could potentially do particularly well. I think some of their weaknesses have potentially been nullified with the special rules that some of these Ents have got.
That would be so much fun as well. That's like the main thing. I mean, could you imagine putting your models down and someone whacking down 3, 4, 5 Ents? You'd be like,
I don't know what I'm going to do against all of those.
What do I do?
I think one of the frustrating things that will potentially happen is that as soon as you go over 500 points, because an Ent is 120 points, it might get a little bit difficult to fit them in. You can't do a 600 point army without losing 100 points. You can't go to 700 points without losing 80 points. So that might almost be seen as a bit of a tax, but I think 500 points will potentially be the sweet spot for this army. Well, 500 points, or it'll be 1,000 points, won't it? So you're taking 4 Ents.
4 Ents. It's bang on 1,000.
No, you're 20 points short, but obviously it's 120.
Yes.
So you will be 20 points short.
But 20 points.
But 20 points.
20 points between trees.
Exactly. So I think at 500 points is kind of the sweet spot. You are maxing out on your points, and then 1,000 points is probably going to be your next real sort of boundary where you are comfortable taking it without losing too many points, shall we say? I think at other points where you can still use them. But it's an interesting one. It's one that I'm looking forward to playing about with a little bit. It's not an army that I've played with. I've seen it played a couple of times, and it's always been in scenarios such as Reconnoiter and things like that, and they always tend to not do too well at games like that. However, now that they've got that access to Heroic March, they might start to do a little bit better.
I've played a couple of Ent armies. I've never really fared well against them. That's before
the new
rules, and they're better now. So I think if someone wanted to invest the finances and the time into getting one on the table, I think it'd do quite well. I don't think it would win a tournament.
I don't think it's going to win a tournament.
But I think it could upset a tournament.
Yeah.
If you get one of the favourites, you could ruin his weekend.
Exactly.
I think I've probably got I've got Treebeard, I've got the old metal stumpy thing, I've got 2 plastic kits. We could probably
we could cobble this together. I think we need to get this on camera.
Let's do it. Put it on camera against an Isengard list with Saruman. That'd be quite cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Anyway, I think we have discussed this army list to death.
Yes.
I think we have covered everything about the weaknesses, the strengths, all the profiles, and kind of what this army is going to do on the table. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to support the channel in any way, check out the links in the description below. We have got links to our Patreon, we have got links to all our social media accounts, and we've got links to our Top Table Gaming Community Facebook page as well. If you want to support the channel as well, you can also use our Element Games affiliate link, which gives us a little kickback when you spend through Element Games.
So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video. Take care.